Oscar-winning actors have them, Olympic athletes have them, and so do weight masters. What am I talking about? Did you know that research studies of people who have achieved and sustained long-term weight management over time, most of these long-term masters cited having a support team on their journey as one of the keys to their success. There are so many ways the world is set up to sabotage our goals with weight and even people within our lives. So it is important as someone who wants to have a successful and continued weight success journey to actively seek out a support team that is going to be with you, advising you, guiding you, rooting for you, and supporting you on your journey. So in today's Thin Thinking podcast, I'm going to walk through the key 5 people, the 5 positions you want to fill or are going to want on this all-important team. So grab your contacts database and come on in. Did you know that our struggle with weight doesn't start with the food on your plate or get fixed in the gym? 80% of our weight struggle is mental. That's right. The key to unlocking long-term weight release and management begins in your mind. Hi there, I'm Rita Black. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, weight loss expert, best-selling author, and the creator of the Shift Weight Mastery process. And not only have I helped thousands of people over the past 20 years achieve long-term weight mastery, I am also a former weight struggler, carb addict, and binge eater. And after 2 decades of failed diets and fad weight loss programs, I lost 40 pounds with the help of hypnosis. Not only did I release all that weight, I have kept it off for 25 years. Enter the Thin Thinking podcast, where you too will learn how to remove the mental roadblocks that keep you struggling. I'll give you the thin thinking tools, skills, and insights to help you develop the mindset you need, not only to achieve your ideal weight, but to stay there long term and live your best life. Hello, friend, and come on in to the Thin Thinking podcast. Welcome to this week. It is here as this episode drops the first week in April, in the April of 2023. And this is one of my favorite weeks, April, the first week in April. It is one of my favorite weeks in the year. Everything in our neighborhood smells so good, and around our house, jasmine here in Southern California is blooming, so we can smell that all over the place. And honeysuckle, such an amazing fragrance. I just love it. It's my favorite, one of my favorite plants. And 21 years ago, this week, I gave birth to my very first child, my daughter, who is now 21 as of April 2nd. And I can't believe it. I have a 21-year-old. I have an adult child. It's official. I never thought this day would happen, but it's very special. I'm very excited for her. And she's such a beautiful young woman out. Right now she's studying abroad. If you guys have been following the podcast, you know she's in Berlin and she's doing a semester away, and she has been so busy. Oh my gosh, she is having a blast, and I'm so excited for her because her freshman year in college, it was COVID. She was kind of locked away in a dorm room. So this has kind of been her freshman year going away because all these kids are also all coming from all over the world, converging and being students together and new to the city of Berlin. And it's an exciting city for them to be in. It's such a city for young people. So I'm very excited for her. But going back to my pregnancy, so I remember so distinctly, you know how smells that they connect you the most vividly to your memory, it just goes right there. So I smell the honeysuckle, I smell the jasmine, and I think about walking around my neighborhood more than 9 months pregnant because my daughter was very late. She was over 2 weeks late. And I remember I had all this advice from my support team because I was an LA woman and I had not a paid support team, maybe one paid position, but I definitely had all these advisors, right? So, and some of my friends told me that there was a salad. If you went over your due date, there's this restaurant in the valley that you go to and you order this salad. I don't remember the restaurant and I don't remember the name of the salad, but I remember the salad. It had nuts in it and all these different things in it, but the dressing was supposed to have this ingredient in it that induced labor, and it did not for me. I went and I had the salad. It was a nice salad, but yeah, I was still pregnant and my baby was still not willing to come out into the world after that salad. So, but my friends had good advice for me. And then I had a hypnobirthing coach who also was awesome. She gave me some great hypnosis for the birth, the rainbow relaxation, which is such a great technique. I'll have to do it with you guys sometimes. It's a gradual relaxing. I remember listening to it over and over again because my labor was 36 hours once that baby decided to come. And she really hung on. So I listened to that relaxation and my other hypnobirthing. Was it a tape at the time? I think it was a tape. Oh my God. It was 2002. Were people, yeah, we were using tapes back then. So yeah, it was a tape. And then, so my hypnobirthing coach, and then I had and another thing she did, and I don't know if you've ever given birth or if you ever plan on giving birth, but she told me to get some oil of evening primrose oil and stretch out my opening. Now, maybe this is a little TMI, but I am telling you, that was probably the best piece of advice anyone ever gave me because I delivered and it was pretty easy and I didn't tear anything, for those of you who know. So this is really getting graphic. I promise you it's not going to be any more graphic. That's the worst. I should have given you a little warning. I had a belly dancing class that I went to when I was pregnant. I really went all out. It was my first baby. I was super excited. And so that was great. And so I had my belly dancing teacher, showing me all the moves and the squats. I squatted every day for 15 minutes just to build up. I was just getting in such, and then I had another friend who I would consider more of a mentor who had a number of children. And she said, just don't listen to anybody's birth story, not until you have the baby. I don't care if they tell you, oh, it's a great story. Just don't listen to any stories because it predisposes you. It just makes you, most people want to tell you a horrible and graphic story. Oh, like me, 36 hours and, in labor forever. But you don't want to listen to them. You just want to think you're going to have a nice and easy birth. And that's what she said. And my mother-in-law, of course, God love her, she said, just drink some wine. She said, you've gone through your baby's going to be fine. Just have a little wine, relax. So I remember when I did start having contractions, we went out to lunch because the doctor said, hey, it's going to be, another probably 24 hours. We went out to lunch and I had some wine to drink. So, and to walk forever. That's what I just did. Walking. So anyway, I'm telling you this because I am now getting you ready to think about your advisory team. And I was so grateful for my advisory team for my birth, but I was also very grateful for my advisory and support team that I continue to have as somebody who manages my weight and who's, on my weight release journey. I had people advising and helping me along the way, and I'm going to get into that. But I still continue to this day. I consider the people in my life a support system. And I'd like you to start to think of the support system you want to create for yourself. Because I think when we struggle with our weight, we feel alone a lot of the time. We don't want to tell anybody that we're struggling with our weight or that we're trying to release weight because maybe we've done it so many times we're a little ashamed of it. We have the people in our life, maybe not the biggest and best support system. I can't tell you how many people tell me their husbands sabotage them, or their kids or the people in their life are, skinny and they can eat whatever they want. And so they have all this crap food around the house. So that is, when we come to thinking about releasing weight, we are kind of going on it alone. We are an island. Now, before I dive into the Power 5 that I believe you should have, I just want to thank everybody who participated in our March review contest. We have done the drawing, and I've posted the winner's name in the show notes. They have been contacted, and they are going to get an honorary seat in the upcoming online live 30-day Shift Weight Mastery process that I am guiding, and it's starting May 4th, 2023. So if you didn't win, we all won because you all participated, and thank you for your amazing reviews. And you hopefully got that free hypnosis download. And if for some reason you didn't get the coupon sent to you, email me at rita@shiftweightmastery.com and just remind me, hey, I sent you a review, or I did review you, or if you forgot to send it in, and we will give you a coupon for a free hypnosis download. I also, speaking of free, have an exciting free masterclass coming up on Wednesday, April 26th, and there's going to be two of them. There's going to be one at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and one at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I hope you join me. It's called How to Break Through the Weight Struggle Cycle so that you can release weight consistently and permanently, because I continue to hear people struggling with that, struggling with feeling like they're struggling with themselves all the time in that on or off, good or bad, all or nothing cycle. So we're going to really dive in to how break through that. We're going to do some weight loss hypnosis, and we're going to have a good time. So, and it's live. Come and join me. And you can ask questions at the end. I'm super excited. So sign up, and the link is in the show notes. So now let's dive into it, building a team for our weight mastery. So why do you think having a support team is cited by people who have been successful in the long term? I actually think having a support system is so important that I have actually made it one of the skills of long-term permanent weight mastery, which are basically built, or I didn't make these skills up. They were gleaned from a lot of research into long-term success studies. So, and I saw, people who are successful are supported. And research shows that even in support groups, that people are twice as successful for long-term success in any type of endeavor, but definitely in weight. They have found that people in weight support groups are twice as successful and for twice the amount of time. Now, like I said, it's really easy to give up when we're by ourselves. Most of the reasons that we aren't consistent with weight is that we throw up our hands and we give up at some point. We give up on ourselves mostly. Anybody who struggles with their weight, I consider them a very disciplined person, because endeavoring so much to manage your weight, it requires discipline, it requires willpower. But I think the big problem we have, or the biggest challenge we have, is our self-communication. And so that's why support can be so helpful, because support can help bolster our own communication with ourselves in this area of our life. So here is the group without much further ado. This is the list of our support team, our Power 5. And I'm going to give the credit for this Power 5 to Stacy Powers, who is a coach. Now, this Power 5 could be used for any endeavor, not just weight, but I certainly know that I had these 5 positions filled, not on purpose necessarily, but I naturally gravitated, would be the word, towards these key figures in my weight mastery and continue to have these figures in my life, maybe filled by different people, because people do come in and out of our lives, or we maybe need somebody with a little more experience or a little more compassion or a different person. So you want to have these types of people in your life, but those positions may change. So here are the 5 positions. So the first one is mentor, and I'm going to get into each one of those, but I'm just saying. The first one is mentor. The second one is a coach. The third one is a peer, and the fourth one is the cheerleader, and the fifth one is the friend. All right. So, and you can have more than one of any of these positions, but these are the types of positions you want to start thinking about filling for your weight mastery journey. So the first one is the mentor. And I would say a mentor focuses on providing guidance and advice for navigating your journey. A mentor, hopefully, is somebody who's been where you have been and can provide you the path and the vision and the inspiration, that knowledge. If they can do it, you can do it. So they're inspiring you, they're guiding you. They've been there before. They've been in the trenches. Now, they can be somebody from your life, but it can also be somebody that you listen to on a podcast, like yours truly. I'd love to think of myself as your mentor or one of your mentors, or on YouTube, or some book that you read. And I have found mentors in books and cassette tapes back in the day. Then I moved on to CDs, and then I moved on to listening to podcasts. I consider I have a number of mentors in my life for varying degrees. I have a gardening mentor I listen to, and I have a mental health and mindfulness mentor. So I have lots of mentors in my life, and I hope that you start thinking of, if you don't have mentors, that these are very key positions for you to fill, and you don't have to pay for them. They can be there out in the world, but they're just somebody who's inspiring you and leading you forward on the path, even if you don't know them personally. You can feel like you know them personally. Because mentorship, for me, when I was in my weight release mode, it wasn't just about food and exercise, but it was definitely how I managed my feelings and emotions, how I learned to love and nurture myself. So it wasn't that I didn't have mentors for nutrition, but I did look for mentors, or were drawn to mentors that were helping me mentally as well as with the food and exercise, if that makes sense. So definitely choose your mentor or mentors. Now, a coach, in my mind, is a little different than a mentor. Although they could be the same person, their role with you is a little different when they're coaching you rather than when they're mentoring you, because a coach works with you specifically to keep you accountable, to set goals, whether that's daily, weekly, monthly. And a coach will keep your mind focused specifically on meeting milestones, whether that's a weight release goal, an exercise goal, improving eating, or all three. A coach is going to help you decide what is next. So they're going to be helping you focus your mind in a specific way. They're going to also help you decide on how much you can bite off, so to speak, meaning how much you can take on without overwhelming yourself. And they're also going to hold you accountable. And then if you don't follow through, they're not going to shame you, hopefully, but what they're going to do is look at what didn't work. Or if you don't meet that specific goal, they're going to look at what didn't work, again, not to shame you, but to really help you learn and improve. So now, in the shift process, we work on developing what I would call an inner coach. Yes, so it's great to have an outer coach if you can afford one, or to get your friend to be your coach for you. Sometimes people coach each other, or you have a coach in your life. Great, but I really am a big believer in having a coach in your mind 24/7, and so that's why in our Shift Weight Mastery process we definitely work on cultivating that inner coach, that one that can help us be successful in the long term. I definitely utilize my inner coach every day of my life, for 27 years. So I'm glad I took the time and energy to develop my inner coach. And I think once you have an inner coach, it really gives you a lot of confidence. It really helps for you to have that goal setting, rational part of your mind rather than the critical and rebellious part of your mind. And I know we've talked about that a lot in this podcast, so I know you're up to speed on this, but definitely choose the coach. You could have somebody in your life, like I said, work with you and coach you and hold you accountable. I had this girl when I was releasing weight. I had this girl who was training to be a fitness coach, and she helped me a lot, especially with keeping track of things. So one thing she helped me with is I had a really long plateau, and I was getting really a little frustrated. Although, I wasn't on a diet, I wasn't trying to lose weight super fast. I hit this long plateau. And so she had me track my food and exercise. And what was interesting is because we kind of treated it as an experiment. She said, just do it as an experiment. Write down your food and exercise. Look at how much you're taking in. Because I was convinced I wasn't eating hardly anything and that I was really exercising a lot. And I tracked and I saw something really fascinating. I saw on the weekend I was overeating, and that all that exercise that I thought I was doing wasn't doing enough to release weight with the amount of food that I was eating. I ate less during the week, but my mind, interestingly, was focusing on Monday and Tuesday when I was being very focused, and not so much on the weekend when I was a little blousier, eating more, maybe having some cocktails or drinking. And so that was so enlightening because then all of a sudden it made sense why I plateaued. I got really clear on the tweaks that I had to make in my behavior. So it was really helpful for her to guide me and step in and say, hey, try this. And then she would look at my stuff with me and walk me through it. And it really helped me get strategic. It helped me get specific. And it helped me not kid myself, basically, on thinking, because our brain underestimates the amount we eat a significant amount, almost half when we struggle with our weight. So it was really helpful for me to get clear. It wasn't like I was dieting, but it was more getting clear and being what I like to call an inner scientist, getting the facts and getting really clear with everything. And that really helped me get clear on the path that I needed to take to release the rest of my weight. So I think a coach also reminds you of your original goal, because sometimes it's easy to give up and we forget why we're on a weight release journey in the first place, especially after we release a certain amount of weight and maybe we get out of the initial pain. A coach is also there to remind you, hey, look, it wasn't just about getting out of the pain. It was about you wanted to be super healthy. You wanted to get super fit. I'm a stand for your original goal and commitment to yourself. I remember writing the book From Fat to Thin Thinking, and I got to the middle of it. And as much as I love helping people in this way, I got really down on myself. I was like, why am I even writing this book? Nobody's going to read it. I'm going to get these really bad reviews on Amazon. And I had all these negative, just like all this negative stuff came flowing in. But my husband was my book coach. And he was so helpful because he has written so many books, and I mean, he's just incredibly a prolific writer. And he said, "Look, you should definitely just remember, who are you writing this book for, and what is the value you want to bring." And so he helped me, write a little list of all the person I was writing to. He's like, just think of one person you're writing your book to. And it was so helpful for me to get out of my little me, and I'm a victim, and, blah, whatever, that really just negative head you get in when you take on a big endeavor. It's really easy to forget and get down on yourself. And how many people give up in the middle of their weight release journey? A lot of people hit a plateau. Oh, it's too hard. I don't care. Oh, and I'm going to love myself for who I am, which you should. You should love yourself for who you are right now. But if you have a goal and you wanted to reach it, you want to be healthier, you want to be fitter, you want to be stronger, whatever that goal is, it's really wonderful to have somebody at your side reminding you who you are and who you want to be. All right. So now, number 3, a peer, P-E-E-R, a peer. And a peer is somebody who is on the same journey as you. How cool is that, right? Somebody you can complain to, exchange ideas with, get insights from insights from how they are doing, and talk about food ideas, exercise ideas. Our membership, our monthly mastery membership group is a great example. People are all on the same journey. And maybe you have a group on Facebook or online. And even within our membership, there are smaller groups of people like buddy systems who check in with each other on a weekly basis. They report their progress on Friday. There's some walking groups who are people who have created walking groups at work, who at lunchtime they go out and they walk. I'm thinking about Melanie, who's kind of gotten people from work to go walking with her at lunchtime. So who can be a peer with you in your life? When I was releasing weight, I definitely had some other people who were releasing weight that I would exercise with, and we would talk about what we were doing and what worked and didn't work. And I still have weight peers. I do this with people in my life who I've developed a healthy lifestyle with, meaning, we've been going and walking and hiking on a weekly basis. I have a friend I hike with on Monday. I have my friend I bike with on Sundays. And we have been doing this for years, and we really do motivate each other about staying healthy. We've gone through a lot of different life experiences together, having children. Now we're, going to be empty nesters, and, we're heading into, new decades together, and different goals and different focuses come into play. And peers are definitely people who can help you, give you ideas, and walk through this together, not feeling so alone. All right, so number 4 is having a cheerleader, somebody who believes in you and knows you can do it. They may not be on the journey with you, but they believe in you, and they believe in you deep down. They know where you are going, and they can be somebody you celebrate your milestones with. And they can also be somebody who helps pick you up if you've had a bad day or a bad week or a bad month. My husband was this for me on my journey of weight mastery. He loved me for who I was, so he never said, "Hey, gotta lose a few pounds." Never, ever. And I loved him for that so much. But he also knew that my freedom and my peace of mind were so important, because I was so unhappy being in the weight struggle. And he just saw me struggle so much, so often, all the time. I was obsessed. And he just said, what are we going to do? Let's, so when I started my journey, he was helping me, just the biggest cheerleader. Anyone, hey, you did that, you, and it wasn't just about weight release, it was about overcoming obsession with food and binge eating and all those things. He's like, wow, you went to that party and you made healthy choices and you did great. So it was nice to have somebody to be victorious with and to notice. But there were also, he was not perfect. There were times I had to remind him, hey, don't bring those bagels home. You're my cheerleader, right? So who can you get to be your cheerleader? Or maybe you already have someone. And again, they could be also the peer. I mean, these roles can overlap, but I'm just kind of focusing you on just like different aspects of support that you want. And sometimes, a lot of times, our support system needs reminding, and that's why it's good to have more than one type of support. And our inner support team, meaning our inner coach, also needs reminding sometimes. Okay, so last but not least, the friend, number 5 position. Somebody who knows you and can hear you bitch and moan. Yeah, it's tough. It's hard, but you're going to keep going, right? They listen to you without judgment. Sometimes my friends, like my best friend Susan, never struggled with her weight, but she knew me so well, and she knew the pain of when I went through with the yo-yo dieting, and she was definitely there for me, and she could be a shoulder I could cry on and an empathetic and non-judgmental ear to listen to me, because sometimes it really just helped to talk about all the secret stuff and get it out. And that was stuff I didn't want to talk to my husband about. He was my cheerleader, but she was somebody I could just tell it all to. I remember telling her that I was bulimic and about my bulimia. I wasn't, my weight struggle spanned many years, so there were a few years there that I was bulimic, and I was taking laxatives and I was throwing up. And it was such a secret, and I was so ashamed about it. And I didn't tell anyone. And then when I started my journey, I had worked through my bulimia, but I still had never told anybody about it. And I just told her, yeah, this is what, and we were even roommates when this was going on. And she was like, wow, I never knew. Gosh, I love you. I'm so sorry you had to go through all that. And it was just so freeing to have somebody who you could be naked with, just bare your soul and tell all your like diet and shameful, what you consider shameful secrets to binging for days, hiding food, eating out of the trash can, all that stuff too. And they just sit there and love you and say, wow, and I still love you. And that is such a powerful experience. So having somebody like that in your life is definitely wonderful as well. Okay, so I hope that has been helpful. I'm going to review these all now, just so you get it. If you want to write them down, go for it. 1, a mentor, people who's going to be your guide. 2, a coach, somebody who's going to get you specific, set really specific goals, and help you stay accountable. A peer, somebody who's in it with you, who's doing on the same journey. A cheerleader, somebody who's going to jump up and down and be supportive of you even when you're down. And a friend, someone who can just be there, who can stand by you, know who you are, and love you for who you are today, and is also supportive of the you are becoming. So if you don't have anyone yet, that is okay. We have opened up a little room in your subconscious mind for those people now to come in. And I hope I'm one of those first people as one of your mentors. I would be honored. So I also have, remember, this free masterclass coming up on April 26th. That's April 26th, 2023. It's a Wednesday, and there's going to be one at 9 a.m. Pacific time and 5 p.m. Pacific time, and I hope you will join me. It's called How to Break Through the Weight Struggle Cycle so that you can release weight consistently and permanently, and I'm really excited to do this with you. So please go to the show notes and sign up and have an amazing week. And remember that the key, and probably the only key to unlocking the door of the weight struggle, is inside you. So keep listening and find it. See you next week. If you want to dive deeper into the mindset of long-term weight release, head on over to www.shiftweightmastery.com. That's www.shiftweightmastery.com, where you'll find numerous tools and resources to help you unlock your mind for permanent weight release, tips, strategies, and more. And be sure to check the show notes to learn more about my book, From Fat to Thin Thinking, Unlock Your Mind for Permanent Weight Loss.